Really capable truck.
How many trucks have you made so far?
Yes, we've made a few dozen, so that we're up in the maybe 60, 70 range, and
wow.
we're cranking them out just at pilot volumes. We're collecting data, we're getting a lot of really great driver feedback, and then we're going to take that time to do a bunch of improvements and bring that into a high volume and really try to be a major player in the market.
Cool. Well, let's see what it looks like on the inside. Oh, very cool. I go right to the driver's seat here.
Yeah.
Okay. Feel like Captain Kirk sitting in this thing.
Like the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, exactly. See, that shows the age difference.
Yeah, you might recognize
I
it from...
say Kirk, you say Millennium
Yeah.
Falcon.
I recognize it from being in a McLaren F1.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's all Tesla controls. Everything looks pretty... If you've ever been in a Tesla, this is very familiar.
Yeah, the screens are right out of the Model 3 and Model Y, so same carryover. A lot of the UI elements are similar as well.
Right.
We tend to use the right screen for more of your interactive, so you've got your map, you've got your controls for the driver, all your media, etc. And on the left is where all your readouts are, so your charge, your speed, the status of the vehicle, air pressure, etc.
I actually prefer this to heads up, because heads up is on my windshield, and I always feel like, I know I'm looking through it.
Slightly in the way.
Yeah, but I prefer this. It's very nice. Okay.
Yeah, it's a nice downrange visibility is phenomenal, as well as looking out. We did a lot with trying to put the driver towards the front to be able to see both right in front of you, and then it'll give you a lot of visibility out the sides as well, for navigating tight urban spaces, and then complemented that with camera views, so you can see on the screen. We've got a couple different views. We've got some that are right looking down, next to the steer tires. We've got then some that are looking backwards. And so we can do a lot to bring more information to the driver than in a conventional truck.
And you got air brakes.
That's correct. Yep.
That's traditional.
Yep.
Okay. And why does the cabin need to be so high? Is there a reason for that, or is it just so you can stand up in the cabin?
Well, one of the things, we had to make the cab actually have an aero fairing that goes all the way to the top of the trailer.
Of course, yeah.
So that just allowed us to have the space that you could stand up in. And, like I was saying previously, you can't do that in a normal semi. So this gives us an opportunity to look. There's three of us in here comfortably in this space. You could never do that in a traditional semi.
Particularly in a day cab.
Exactly.
It's really comfortable. And day cabs, it might seem that the driver, all they do is drive, but they actually spend a lot of time just in the truck, whether that is waiting for the dock, or they're stuck in traffic, or there's some other delay of some sort. This is just a comfortable space. There's no wall, so your seat actually reclines significantly farther.
Okay.
And on top of that, the space is nice and preconditioned. You don't have to run the engine and idle, so you can control it both from the screens as well as your app. You get in it, it's preconditioned, so it's not too cold, not too hot. We just wanted to make a comfortable space for all day operations.
And that's right. You don't have to have the engine running, because in a lot of places you can't have your engine running if you're not moving. But they can't run the air conditioner. But in this you can. So.
Right.
And is this adjustable the way?
Yeah.
So foot on left foot.
Yeah. So there's left foot. There's that pedal there. So that's the steering column. And then if we want, you can slide forward as well.
Oh, I like that. I like it here. Oh, that's great.
So this is actually one of those little things that we really wanted to take more of a car style driving approach, rather than you can sit up higher and forward if you want to, but you get out on the open road, you want to settle back in.
Right.
You really sit a little bit more supine, and the ergonomics team, with the design studio under Franz, really spent a lot of time to make a comfortable seating position for everything.
Dumb question. Are you allowed to have cruise control on a truck?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and actually most fleets encourage it to the point where they'll give drivers a little bit of extra speed or power boost if they're in cruise.
Right.
It's an incentive for them in order to save energy.
Well, let's take Franz, I know you got to run. Thank you, my friend.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Enjoy your ride.
I'll let you
See
know
you
how
guys.
it was.
Franz.
Yeah. And we got an air brake here. Do I release that?
Yeah, that's right. So the yellow one is for the tractor, so go ahead and push that down as long as your foot's on the brake.
Okay.
Yep, and now you're in neutral. And so just like with your...
Do I push down this one as well?
Nope, that's for the trailer. We're not having one of those yet.
Okay.
We've really tried to make the experience very similar to our cars and just make it as clean and easy to drive as possible.
It's like driving the Empire State Building. It's amazing. It moves just like a car. But...
Yeah.
Now, could I go full screen on these if I wanted to, or no? You always have this.
Yeah, so in this mode right now, you can't. We actually can bring up a backup camera, which is really helpful, even sometimes in urban environments like this. But yes, we do intend for doing more complex maneuvers, allowing for full screen.
Well, it gathers speed very nicely, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, we really wanted to make it so that we got rid of that, oh, you're in the city, you're stuck behind a slow truck.
Right.
So we wanted to give drivers a tool to keep with traffic, because we actually think that's safer and it's a time saver.
Right, not people trying to cut around you and
Exactly.
hit the kid in the crosswalk.
Well, and they got a dive bomb in at the last minute because they don't want to be stuck behind the truck on getting on an on-ramp. But yeah, there's no shifting, so we really try to make the driver experience really smooth. And I think you'll really feel that, once we get a trailer on as well.
It's amazing how electricity takes away all sense of space, weight, time. I mean, you don't feel like I could be driving any size vehicle if I...
Yeah, it really is. You don't have that jerkiness of shifting. You don't have that engine RPM, as a cue. You don't have a lot of those old school carryover sensations, and it really shifts the paradigm for you in terms of how the vehicle needs to operate. And we actually look at that as a huge advantage in trucking, where you don't want drivers to get fatigued. You want them over the course of their day to be relaxed and rested. And by making a nice, calm, clean cabin experience, they're less likely to be fatigued and have incidents or accidents throughout the day.
I mean, it doesn't feel clumsy or unwieldy, you don't feel like you're in some huge truck, So
yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
And we're hopeful. The average age of drivers in the United States is over 50. And we don't have many young drivers, and so we're hoping that by reducing the barrier to entry, you're not having to manage a double clutch when you're downshifting and asynchronous gears and things that come with that. By making an easier to approach vehicle, it might attract some new drivers into the field.
It's funny I'm able to roll back, which seems odd.
Yeah, we're bringing over hill hold actually really soon, so that way that doesn't happen. Yeah.
Studebaker, they had that back in the 30s, but it was a ratchet.
Oh yeah.
And it would fall into a pawl.
Oh, kind of like a cam. Yeah.
And you pull away.
Yep. Yeah. Now we do the whole fancy thing with auto applying the brakes for you, and as soon as we sense torque, we release. And so we have the same opportunity to do that over here on Semi. Just haven't implemented it yet.
And no yoke, just a steering wheel.
Yeah, there's the wheel cut on this is actually fantastic. So the turning radius is about the same as our Model 3 or Model Y. Yeah. It's really tight because
is that right?
Yeah, it's really. We wanted to make a highly maneuverable vehicle, because you get into these urban situations doing deliveries where they don't give truckers that much space, and so you want to give them every bit of maneuverability as you can. And so by not having an engine, we freed up a whole front end to give you a high degree of wheel cut and ultimate maneuverability.
Yeah, throttle is great. Nothing herky-jerky. You just tiniest amount of pressure, tiniest amount of movement.
What do you think of the dual screen setup? Do you like having all that visibility in front of you? And
I like having
not
all the
screen?
visibility. Yeah.
Yeah.
It almost seems like I'd want this to be rear view and this to be information.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm sort of searching which one do I want. Oh. Massive wiper.
Yep. So one single wiper to really clear the whole windshield. That was an interesting development, both in terms of the mechanism, but just getting the right amount of space cleared.
Yeah.
And a lot of the regulations are actually written with the driver biased to one side. I will say you do get a lot of attention and fans when you're driving this thing around.
Oh, I imagine so.
Yeah, there's a few cars around us that are trying to grab a snapshot. When you're 13.5 feet tall, it's a little hard to hide.
I know, it's funny. Quite nimble, isn't it?
Yeah, nice merge. We wanted to give drivers that capability, good power, response, and then all the visibility to pull that maneuver. That was well executed.
Same battery pack as the Y, or just more of them?
So we use actually a lot of technology brought over from our energy division in how the battery is assembled, but it is assembled in a higher voltage. Right. So we're running at the 800,000 volt range.
Wow. Versus
our 400 volt range in most of our cars today. But Cybertruck will also go to that higher voltage range. So Semi was really helping prove out a number of our high voltage theories early on.
Do you still run a regular 12-volt battery to power the ancillary stuff?
Yeah, so we have 12 volt as well as actually 24 volt system on here,
Right.
for the brake system. But there's, we're always looking at ways to improve and simplify the low voltage. So we're considering our 48 volt architecture for our next generation, but 12 volt is certainly the common one today. Yeah, there are a lot of trucking accessories. Every fleet's got their little tools, every driver
Right.
outfits their cabs, and so having something that's common like a 12 volt system is really advantageous for that. So Jay, not only are you going to get the chance to see the low roof semi, but you're going to get a chance to tow it.
All right, let's do it.
And so this low roof semi, actually, why we've got it out here is we just wrapped up summer testing. So we were out in Las Vegas, out near Death Valley,
Right.
doing really hot temperature stuff, really pushing the systems to its limits.
Oh, this trailer?
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna
So you
pull
can
it.
drop in, yep, and we're gonna hook up.
Oh, all right. Let's see what we got here.
There we go.
Can I click into it?
Yeah, keep going. Yeah, it's gonna go over that entire plate. So you just keep going, and then it'll self-navigate, and then you'll feel it when it clicks in. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Yep, keep going, keep going. There you go. Now you got it. Now what you can actually do, the real truck, you put it in drive,
Yeah.
and give it a little throttle. There you go. And let off the, and then we'll set the park brakes. So just pull the lever there. Yep, and we'll hook up the trailer.
Oh, okay. Cool.
All good?
Let's see.
Thanks. All set?
Yeah.
There you go.
I don't even feel like I'm pulling anything.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
yeah. We're pushing a good load back there, 60, 70,000 pounds gross vehicle weight, and you're not feeling it.
We gotta make Albuquerque by morning.
But that's exactly it. We want to make it super comfortable on the road.
Yeah.
You want to take it to Albuquerque? Great, we'll make it easy for you.
You know, it's funny. I can't see the trailer in the mirror. So
Yeah.
I don't even know if you told me, oh, we didn't hook up, we just pulled away, I would believe you. Because I don't, I mean, initially, maybe a little bit more effort, but boy, not much.
Yeah.
Another half inch on the throttle, maybe. And
Yeah.
it's stunning. Even in a diesel, I would feel it, you'd
Churning, the engine's working.
yeah, the engine's working.
And we dynamically adjust how much power we give you based on the load we sense.
Right,
So you
right.
that way you have a nice consistent feel. We still let you know there's something back there, but we don't want you to feel like you're just a dog. We
Yeah.
give you plenty of power to get the job done.
Yeah, this is amazing. Now the braking system, is that Tesla as well, or is that just a trucking system modified for an electric, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. So
'Cause
it's
this looks all standard stuff.
yeah, so we still have standard air brakes, so friction brakes,
Right.
and we work with the supplier, but we do a lot of the stability control and interface with that system directly. And then obviously the whole regen that comes with the braking, that's all of Tesla. Yeah, we needed to have regular air brakes in part to interface with every trailer that's out there. We've got to
Right.
drop this truck into any type of operation. And so being compatible with all the trailers is a number one requirement for that.
Even braking doesn't feel like I'm pushing a big load behind, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah. Well, we brought over brake system that's actually commonly used in Europe, and so it's brake by wire. So it's
Right.
still pneumatic actuated, but it's electrically commanded in its primary mode, and so it gives us much better fidelity and control over the braking of the vehicle, and so it results in a much smoother braking than in
Very
the
nice.
traditional North American systems.
It's so funny. I not know. We just stuck an extra 60,000 pounds on this.
Well, that's why we really wanted to get you with a load on it. I mean, it's just such a different sensation in the sense that it's the same, which is unique, but at the same time, it smooths out the ride. It gives you, a lot of confidence as a driver that you're going to have a good day. It's going to be easy. You can get the job done.
When an electric motor is overloaded, is it different than a internal combustion? I mean, would this start to? Would I smell scorching like electrical fire?
No. But we will, if we are starting to really push the limits. I mean, the truck is very capable. We can tackle any highway grade at its posted speed limit, because we want to be able to just have you keep with traffic. But if we were to start to stress the system, we fold that back really gracefully, and we'll tell you. That's the beauty of having the big screens, is we can just give you full alerts explaining, hey, your system is now a little bit more limited. Yeah, so just aim straight from where you are. Yep, keep going, and then we're actually going to start in just a minute here. Keep going. Now we'll start to make a left-hand turn. And so you don't need to crank it too far. That's good. Keep rolling. You're good. We're totally fine here. Yeah. So you can actually unwind it just a little bit. You don't want to overcommit.
Okay.
Yeah, you're fine. Just keep rolling through here.
Boy, she's amazing.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I mean, we've got way tighter turning radius. Like, this is a straightforward maneuver.
Well, I'm amazed that this is the same turning radius as a Model Y or an S, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah, it's about the same as Model 3 or Model Y.
Wow.
Yeah. And during that whole maneuver, you could see the trailer in your mirrors and your
Yeah.
cameras. You can really execute it by staying where you need to.
Yeah. Boy, this is probably the biggest revolution in trucking since trucks replaced trains, isn't it? I guess.
I mean, that's what we're aiming for. We want to make a big impact. We're not looking to be a small player.
Right.
Heavy trucks are 1% of vehicles on road, but consume 18% of the fuel, like 18% of emissions. And so by replacing one truck, we can make a huge impact on the environment.
Right.
We're really excited about that. And then on the cost front, because trucks consume so much fuel, that's an enormous opportunity for the fleets to save money and for good transportation to get cheaper.
Right.
By the way, you're totally nailing the center drive position. I know you've got cars that are like that, but it's a question, a comment we get often, and you're right in the middle.
To me, it seems like the most normal place to be.
Yeah,
sitting
especially
in the middle of a vehicle.
Especially
Because
usually
when
you're the only
here-
occupant. Yeah.
I mean, the biggest fear to me is when I'm in a big vehicle is the kid on a bicycle right there.
Yeah.
Whereas here I'm right in the center. I can position myself right in front of the vehicle in front of me, right back into the vehicle in front of me, rather.
Yeah, and that's where by giving you all this visibility,
Yeah, no, it's really, really something.
including the downward and rearward cameras. I mean, you would see a pedestrian or somebody
Right.
in an urban environment like that. So we really wanted to make the truck safer, not just for the driver, but for everybody else on the
Right.
road too.
How much does color contribute? For example, they tried to pass a law years ago in California to limit the amount of black vehicles because they consume too much heat.
Oh wow.
But for like a Tesla, if I was to paint this truck black and drive hundreds of thousands of miles, would it be a percentage of? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it'd be negligible.
Okay.
I mean, the biggest thing is that darker cars, they do absorb a little bit more heat, so it puts a little bit more load on some of the thermal system.
Right.
But it's totally negligible. I mean, we made the truck white because it's the most common color for fleets, and they can outfit it what they want, put their stickers, their logos, their decals, etc., in order to brand it the way they want. But yeah, the overall color does not have a significant load on anything like that.
In a weather environment, which can stand the limits better, electric or internal combustion?
So, I mean, I think that's actually a misconception that electric struggles in those environments. I'm glad you asked, because a couple different things. Like, one is that, let's talk about vehicle dynamics. The electric motor, because it doesn't have that big drive line and inertia, in slippery conditions, we can better manage your traction instantaneously at the contact patch than a traditional internal combustion engine could. So that's one. And then when you talk about heat or cold, there's a lot that we can do thermally to actually manage the battery and the whole drivetrain really well and put the battery at its ideal operating point. and that means we can create heat or move heat rather using our heat pump technology and heat the battery, or we can cool it really well. And in the Semi, because we actually have a large battery, use it as this big thermal sink where we can move heat in and out of it. And because it's used so much, like even if you go and use this in a really cold environment, the battery doesn't get cold. It's a big cube, a big block, it's got a lot of thermal mass, and then it's used all the time, and so it just stays warm and it's quite happy.
You want me over on the dirt?
No, you can just straighten it out and stay on the pavement here. So you can go to the left, yeah.
Let me at least get on this side of the white line.
There you go, yeah.
All right here.
A little farther forward if you don't mind. So go ahead and set your park brake. Just pull the levers there and you're good.
And press this button there, okay. Here we go.
All right, we'll go ahead and disconnect you.
Cool.
Yeah, and it's already started to lift.
Oh, there we go. Oh, very good. Oh, the other thing I'm wondering about, I mean, I know we're not there yet. I keep talking to guys like Aptera have this. Have you seen that Aptera car?
Yeah, I have. Little teardrop thing, yeah.
Well, and they say, oh, you can go 1,000 miles because you're charging as you're driving. How far away are we from this being, a solar panel that would provide electricity? Is that feasible?
I mean, we can do it. The reason that we haven't is that it generally introduces cost and mass that don't pay back in the electricity or range extension that you're going to get.
Right, it doesn't, the trade-off is not worth it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, even if we were going to put them on trailers, which is a common thing we get, because that's a lot of real estate, it's still just cost and complexity and mass that doesn't pay back in the energy, and so we really look at just deploying fast charging infrastructure to help solve that problem and extend range.
Yeah. Well, Dan, this has all been very exciting. It's so funny to be at the cutting edge. 100 and some odd years ago, it was steam, gas, and electric, and one of those is going to win in. And in around 1967, each one actually had 30% of the market.
Yeah.
Electricity got killed because nobody had electricity at home. You couldn't charge anything. It took them 100 years to turn the situation around. I mean, steam was the original one, and then the internal combustion, and now electric. So it's funny to see how three of the oldest keep changing position all the time.
Yeah, and we're really firm believers that all terrestrial transport will go electric, and Semi is going to be a big part of that. And we really see a huge opportunity to make this a revolutionary product in the trucking industry, and really show the world that electric can be very capable and haul all the goods that we need to.
Well, that's my favorite thing about Tesla. They understand the practicality of the supply chain and all this other stuff. Everybody else builds a car, and there they go, there it is. But they haven't made the infrastructure. They haven't done any of that. And it's great that you're not just looking at the sports car and the enthusiast, but for other aspects of the transportation world as well. And this is really groundbreaking. It's very exciting. Dan, thank you, my friend.
Thank you, Jay. This is a lot of fun.
All right, very cool.